We make ourselves laugh. Oh, well, welcome everyone. It's so good to see the Lemonettes. I haven't been on a recording in a couple weeks. I've been traveling around, so I missed everyone.
Welcome back, Melissa.
Thank you. I'm so glad to be here. This is our third February together, which is so awesome. Yeah. Wow. And every February, third year. And every February we focus on love. And so Penny's got a heart shirt on, and she always has her heart in her name on the Zoom call. I love that. So I thought it would be a great time to sit down with my friend, Adam Guzman-Poole, and talk about love. So I would like to welcome Adam to the show. If you're on Zoom, you can see him. Otherwise, you will hear him. Adam is also a listener of our podcast and someone whose complete life's work has been deeply rooted in love. Of course, his work is individual and talks about romantic love with your partner, but also the kind of love that shapes how we live and how we love ourselves and how we step into purpose and find meaning in the middle of real life. Adam is a holistic counselor, coach, and teacher, and the author of a book, Lessons on Love, Sacred Stories on Relationships, Balance, and Becoming Your Authentic Self. I've read this book. I love it. I actually had it for a while, like contemplating on it. I'd read some parts and I would contemplate on it and see like how it landed in my life. So I really love this book. It's so honest, and it's actual real stories of Adam wrestling with life and slowly finding his way back to himself, practicing what he's preaching. So Adam is trained in logotherapy, which is rooted in Viktor Frankl's work. And that's all about finding meaning, even in suffering. He's also trained through Erickson Coaching International, which focuses on solution-oriented coaching and helping people access their own inner wisdom to move forward. His journey has taken him around the world, where he has learned from Indigenous people, Buddhist teachers, scientists, psychologists, the Five Lemons laughing, and now he lives with his son and his wife in Bali. And through all of it, he's developed a framework for reconnecting to love, not as an idea, but as something that he is helping people with, a lived, practiced love with yourself and between the other people in your life. So before we talk to Adam about his programs, I'm curious. Well, first, welcome, Adam. And I'm curious, Adam. When did you first realize that love wasn't just a feeling, but it was something deeper for you and purpose-driven for you and for other people?
Thank you. Well, thank you. Before I answer that, just want to say thank you so much for having. I've listened to your podcast before and I love it. And I didn't know that the laughing, I thought that was just the stage, like, an audio, but I love that you actually laugh. This is real. That's amazing. I love it. So to answer that question, I mean, I think I've been very blessed because my mom, I was raised in the Philippines, and my mom was really intentional about the community that she wanted to bring us in. And it really mattered where we were going to be brought up. And we were integrated into a community that was really heart-centered, really grounded on spiritual principles. It was a Christian community. And they were really, that's really where I saw love in action. And I realized that love wasn't just this romantic of a man and a woman, or, man and man, woman and woman, whatever. But that it really came down to action as well. And love was, treating your neighbor well. It was going out and being of service. And ultimately, at the end of the day, love was really about a relationship with something so much bigger, whether, you want to call it God, the divine source, insert whatever word works for you. But that's where I first learned about love, I guess. So thank you, Mom. And thank you, life.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Lovely.
Well, Yeah. And full confession, I didn't read the entire book, but I read several of the stories. I really loved the one about where to find friendship, because that one really resonated for me. I can relate to that one. Maybe we can give a recap of that story later. But anyway, I digress. So you talk in your book about how easy it is to get swept up in striving and the different roles that we accept or are assigned, expectations, relationships, who we think we're supposed to be, and then what it looks like to slowly peel back those layers and return to love, I guess. For people listening who maybe feel disconnected from love, although they may not would know to even frame it that way, but they're swept up in busyness or striving or just feeling a little numbed out. Where do we begin this process of returning to love, I guess?
Yeah, thank you for that question. Well, I think at the end of the day, it comes down to an extension of what I just said about where I first, discovered love, and it's really coming back to that source, coming back to ourselves, to our soul. Because so often in our world, where we live in this material universe, where we're looking for it outside of ourselves, and we're constantly reaching. And all you lemonettes know that that's not where we're going to find what we're actually looking for, right? And we're on this never-ending hamster wheel. And at the end of the day, no matter how much we achieve, no matter how much we do, we're not going to find what we're ultimately looking for in the end, which is source, which is another way of saying love. And so. And for me, I guess, that's, in my book, I share different personal stories of that. And that comes from my own striving of realizing, dealing with, unhealthy beliefs and this achievement culture. And I thought that, if I would, achieve something, or do enough, then I would finally be enough. Right. But at the end of the day, it's like when I came to, always every time I came back to my spiritual source, I realized, I don't need anything. And that's the truth. And that's really where I tend to turn people to, is like turning back within, because the beauty is we don't have to look far, right? It does takes effort, but it's a lot less effort than all the effort we go about, just hacking away, trying to make things work in this material world, right? When we can, turn the flashlight back within. So that's really where I like to point people to.
Yeah, that's profound. And I think I'm reading Elizabeth Gilbert's memoir right now, and she talks about being codependent and constantly seeking for love outside of herself as a way of like validating her worthiness. And I think many women can relate to that, even if they don't have, the love addiction and the codependency that she describes. So I don't want to gloss over that, pointing people within. I think that is the crux of it. And I don't think we should just pass over what you just said, because that really is the whole of it. It's not outside of us.
Yeah. What a joy, eh? What a joy.
That's beautifully said, Morgan. It reminds me of this realization I had. And welcome, Adam. Great to meet you, by the way.
Yeah, thank you.
Pleasure. So I had this realization that, I work in the film industry, and I was thinking about all the different types of art and movies and things. Can't create one realizing their love for something bigger than themselves. And it was just like the biggest realization I ever had. It's just like, that is one of the reasons why I found my way back into film. And so I just love how, when you explain that return to self, that every film kind of points that person, whoever that person is, back to find what their purpose really is, And I just really love everything about what you've written. in your book. So my question is, and I think this, I hope this is not just me, but I think a lot of people who are like the Lemonettes and are working to spread love and to be the light of the world, we tend to be a little bit on the, let's just say, a little bit more challenging in receiving love. A little bit, yeah, it becomes a little bit challenging finding your way. And I think it's, some of the resistance that comes with the knowing. And so I want to know how you go about explaining it to spiritual teachers, maybe using your accelerator program or the 30-day love challenge, if one of those are applicable. But just in general, how do you go about helping people like ourselves to get there, to return to love?
Yeah, thank you. And I did, before I answer that question, I just want to say I love what you were saying with the film industry. And I'm just thinking of Khalil Gibran's quote, it's love is work made visible. And I think it's just like the beauty that, that's that, it really comes from the heart. And, I think for, service oriented people, it's so easy to give, it's so easy to give and come from that place. And at the same time, it's also so easy to forget to take care of yourself, right? To tend to yourself, to nurture yourself. And because I think, there is also some conditioning as well that says, you're supposed to be selfless, and and it's a spiritual quality, it's like to be selfless and to be of service oriented. And I still believe that you can be selfless and still take care of yourself and nurture yourself, right? And realizing that you're part of this greater whole, and there's no, we aren't doing anyone any service by running on empty, right? So, for me, it really comes down to like helping, realizing that, yourself is part of this greater whole. And, we really need to like kind of create these rituals and these spaces so that you can receive, and it is like a muscle. And so learning to,
the good part.
Oh, I know. We lost you for a second, Adam.
That inflow. Oh gosh. Okay. Sorry. That could be my, I'm back. I'm back. Where did you lose me? Where did you lose me?
At the cliffhanger.
It was on a cliffhanger. What was the
giving back to yourself? Someone that you have to give back to yourself. And then you were talking about small spaces for giving back to yourself. You were starting kind of to move into that.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, like, I think it's just really, it's really taking that time so that you can receive. And I think it's prioritizing yourself in a way so that you can give even more. So maybe that means like, before, for me, I'll just give some personal examples of me. Like, I like at the end of the workday, I'll just have a mini meditation for 10 minutes because, before I go out to see my family and support them, I know that I need to fill my cup just a little bit, so finding these micro moments throughout the day just to like receive, fill your cup so that you're better able to be of service to those around you. Right.
I love that practice.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. How do you?
Yeah, it's actually the small things. Yeah.
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 I was going to ask for a little more of those. Like, what other ways do you help people see how to put themselves first? How to come back to themselves?
Yeah. So I like to look at it through like the lens of an Indigenous medicine wheel, which I spent about 18 years working with, traditional tribes in Canada and South America. So there's a medicine wheel that it's like a circle. So for those of you in Zoom, you can see, so it's a circle and a pie, and it's cut up into 4 parts. And a human being and the universe lives within that medicine wheel. So the 4 parts are we have a mental body, an emotional body, a spiritual body, and a physical body, right? So in order for everything to be in balance, we need to take care of all those pieces. And so that is, so focusing on these little things like, if we will look at taking care of the physical part of, what brings us in balance, that's really simple, right? Getting good sleep, getting enough exercise, moving, like our body's a temple, so we have to take care of it. Eating good food, right? These are just really simple practices to just, help us dial in to be more loving, and realizing like it's an act of love. Like like taking a breath in this moment is an act of love. Eating good food is an act of love, and I'm like putting good oil in the car so that it can like drive further, right? And realizing that we have to take care of it. So that's like the physical aspect. But a lot of times where a lot of us get hooked. Because like everyone knows we should exercise, eat good food, and get good sleep. But why don't we, right? And that is usually because of the mental and the emotional body. There's usually beliefs that are driving the show. So like there's some unhealthy beliefs, like if we have the unhealthy belief like we're unlovable, or like we're not enough, or like we'll be abandoned. These are going to be the lenses that we're going to be looking at through the world, and we're going to make decisions based on those harmful beliefs, right? So, I opened up with like saying that I had this unhealthy belief of not enough. So how this, has worked with me in the past of like where I would, so maybe I would wake up super early and then get to work and just keep working all day and maybe not get enough sleep. Maybe I would use caffeine to mask that. And I would keep going and going. And because, I wanted to like, because I was looking for my worth in this not enoughness, right? So I would keep looking for it. There wouldn't be enough time. There wouldn't be enough this. There wouldn't be, and my beliefs would be guiding that. And, how am I going to respond to the people around me, right? If I'm, lack of sleep, caffeine driven, like I'm going to probably be more agitated. And then there's going to be, that's just like the negative cycle. So really like, it's really crucial, like these, like working with these core wounds that, we develop a lot of times through childhood, to really work to just nurturing those core beliefs and tending to them with love and care. So, and we can do that in just small, little ways. Like, if we have a meditation practice, we can incorporate some loving kindness practice, to those parts. We can welcome those parts into our meditation. And really, they're just like, they're like hurt children. I don't know if you're familiar with internal family systems, or IFS. Mm-hmm. And so they're like these little childhood parts that haven't got their needs met, and they're doing their best that they can to make it in the world, but they don't know, right? So we need to just invite those parts of us in, and then offer that love. And that's really like for me, like and like my framework is really grounded in the sacred. So there's like there's I wish I had a diagram to show you, but it's like interconnecting. So there's like, there's the self, and then there's like other people, there's work, and all these aspects of what make life. There's like interconnected. Venn diagram. Yeah, Venn diagram. That's the word. Thank you, Morgan. And so around the Venn diagram is actually another circle, and it's the sacred, which holds it all, right? Because it's the thing that can actually contain it. It's bigger than all of these beliefs, all of these challenges. It's because these challenges are our small self. So connecting to our big self, we're able to navigate those beliefs and meet them and transform them. So Melissa, that was like that was like little things, and then some big things that we can do as well. So yeah.
So I'm interested, since you have studied with such fascinating people, what are the big things? Like, what's the magic?
The magic? What do you mean?
What's the answer?
Like the answer? Love. Didn't the Beatles say it? At the end of the day. Yeah. At the end of the day, they had that Super Bowl moment, right? Where it said the only thing more powerful than hate is love. And that's really, at the end of the day, it is love. It is love. It is love. It's what we need more than anything in this world. It's what will help us, find more harmony in our relationships with all people. And so just really working that love with, at first our connection with source, however that is for you, some people, may not like that word, but, insert whatever word you like, connect with that energy. And because that will support you and will support us more than anything. And then connect to yourself, because you are a sacred soul, so you are a soul, you're an extension of that beautiful light. If the source is the sun, we are the beam of light. So we need to take care so that we can shine as bright as we can and then shine onto other people. So that's sort of how it works, connect to source, connect to the soul, then bring that out and connect in our relationship. And that's really it's really hard with ourselves, but it's also I think probably one of the greatest stresses in life is actually interpersonal conflict, right? That's social scientists have actually researched that, bigger than financial difficulties, bigger than, sickness, the things that cause us the most stress in life is interpersonal conflict. So that's we got to get strong so that we can, meet our family. It's not always easy, but that's why we do the work.
So I have a question for you, Adam. So I love that you're talking about interpersonal relationships, because there's a situation going on in my neighborhood. We live in a community that we have a private road association. We have a private water company, and everybody pays in, and there's a big conflict going on. And I am really attempting to encourage everybody. There's one member that is decided to sue us because they feel that they're not being treated properly. And it's not true. Some people just kind of go insane, I believe. And so I am attempting to work with everybody and just saying, okay, love is the answer here, people. But not everybody in this world believes that to be true. So I mean, we have a meeting coming up on Monday, and it could be quite contentious with the community. And so I'm just really curious on what would you do to prepare for a meeting where there's going to be there could be, of course, I'm putting the energy out there that everything's going to go easy and smooth. But, we're just like you talked about in your book about turning challenges into gifts. I would love to hear for our listeners and for me, how would you handle that?
Yeah. Well, I think, first is just having a challenge response, turning toward it, because it's in your reality. So it's part of your evolution, because everything that comes to us is there to help us grow. It wouldn't be in our situation if it wasn't. So one, first, saying yes to it, because sometimes we can kind of cringe, when it's oh no, not this again. But if we have, and this is actually research in science as well, when we have a challenge response and we're willing to approach it, we're able to actually be more resilient in the face of it. So that will actually, create some creativity. And just, so one is the realizing that this is for me is really that mindset. And then the other, I can offer some sort of there's some practical things that we can do. And one, ultimately your soul knows the best. And so really tuning into, whatever spiritual practice that you have, and guiding, listening to your intuition of how should I best approach this? What is the mindset? What should I say? What should I look, just really tuning into that beforehand, prepping yourself. It's sort of like your Super Bowl, you're going to sit this moment. And then at the same time, love can also be fierce too. Sometimes we think that love is all we can really be, we can stand in love and we can be screaming at someone. I'm not telling you to scream at someone, but I just want you to know that it doesn't mean oh, okay. We can be we can stand in what is true, and what is true and come from that place. And so knowing that, and a really useful practice for dealing with conflict with people that see things differently is I think it's Stephen Covey's 4th habit, seeking first to understand, in the 7 habits of highly effective people. So really just putting ourselves in this person's shoes, where what's it like for them, where are they coming from, and really just trying to really empathize with them and put ourselves in that shoe. And when it happens, when they're speaking, if you can actually share it back with them, then there's something that softens within them. And I've done this in many different conflict situations. I just did it with my wife yesterday. And it's amazing what happens when you're doing it. When you're doing it and you actually change in the process of doing it, because you're so in the other person's shoes that you start to see, oh, and then you're softening. And there's just something that happens in the morphogenic field that like you're softening, they feel heard, they start to soften. And there's something, beautiful that can happen from that. And at the end of the day, pray, and let go, do your best and let go that's the thing.
Yeah. I love that. Everything is here to help me grow. If I can just keep that in the forefront of my mind, but there's also like 35 other families involved. So if we can all take that on. Yeah.
It only takes one.
Yeah.
That's right. It's a ripple effect.
I just want to follow what you said, Morgan. It really only takes one. Thich Nhat Hanh, beautiful Buddhist teacher, tells this story of the boatman, and there's a ship that's starting to sink, and everyone is so nervous and afraid. But it just takes one calm person, to calm the entire ship. And I think you're that one person, Penny.
I love it.
Yeah.
I take that on.
Yeah. Let us know how it goes. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll have to have a follow-up next week's episode.
Yeah.
Adam, I just want to reflect back to you what you said, because there was so much helpful stuff that you shared. So I heard you say that you didn't use these words, but I wrote avoidance is resistance. And so when we're avoiding conflict, what you resist or what you fear, you attract. So trying to soften into that avoidance. I loved, if it's in your reality, it's part of your evolution. I think that was really profound. And I've heard this before, but it always bears repeating. This is for me, claiming that it's for good. That is so simple to apply right away. This is happening for me, not to me. I love that love can sometimes be fierce. That was cool. I mean, I immediately thought of a mom shouting at their child from running into the street. Like, that is love, even though they're screaming their head off at the kitchen. And of course, seeking first to understand. I thought of the prayer of St. Francis and the power of reflecting it back to people. That is not a practice that I do often enough. I do it in situations like this, beautiful, peaceful sharing situations. I reflect back what I've heard, but I have not really applied that so much in conflict. And I can definitely see how that would be very powerful in shifting the energy. Yeah. So
you'll have to report back, Morgan.
Yeah.
Let us know how it goes, Morgan. Yeah. That's great. I actually have, here, I'm going to grab it. Why not? It's going to be fun. I have this over here. It's Durga here. So Durga, she's this like fierce goddess that she rides on a tiger, and she's got a sword, and she's like ready to cut off your head. And she's like, she's fierce. She's fierce. Don't mess with love, don't mess with it.
Yeah.
I love what you were saying. To me, I was kind of visualizing what you were saying about the sacred holding the life. And so this, like, coming at everything, Penny, with love, like if that's like in the forefront, those lenses that you put on. So you've got the sacred holding, you've got the whole life showing you that this is part of your journey. Then you're showing up for other people, not in spite of yourself, but you're showing up with that honoring other people, again, like through this lens of love, and then taking care of yourself. I mean, you're doing that right now. I see all of it. Like, it's like you became, or we're talking about being conscious about going in to the situation, and conscious how you're bringing love from all these levels into the situation. It's, it has completely painted a picture for me.
I love it.
Yeah. Because people wouldn't do that. A lot of people wouldn't do that, Penny. A lot of people wouldn't go in and have love. I mean, Penny, you're so full of love that it just makes, I can see that you would be the perfect person to walk in and go, the person like, tell me what's going on.
Oh,
or whatever, I know it's probably
Thank
overwhelming,
yeah.
but the also what I was thinking is, look how much love Penny has for her home and your family who you enjoy your home with. I know you love your home. I know you love where it is. It really all is. It's like making the film. You're going into it just with this love of everything involved. And that's probably why it's so prickly too.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll see how it plays out. I'm going to go in with a pure, clean heart and, we'll see what goes on. Yeah. You can all pray.
Thank you. Yeah. We'll keep you in our prayers for sure, Penny. Yeah. Thanks for accepting the assignment.
Yeah.
The world is better because of you. Yeah. So.
Yes. And you and everybody here and the listeners. We can all do this together.
Adam, I loved that the way you ended Penny's story was pray, 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 because it's really about partnering up and not trying to do it alone. I love that. And I just love the way that your book is laid out for those people that are maybe interested in the book. Could you tell us the name of the book again? And it's just so interesting how you have it laid out, kind of like just explain the process of the book and how to really use it. And where can people get the book and also learn more about you?
Yeah. So you can I think maybe the best way is lessonsonlove.org. And that's, you can find the book there. You can find like the different work that's sort of the extension of the book there. And it's, that's where you go. Yeah.
And describe the book and how it's laid out, because it's unique.
Oh yeah. Sorry. Yes. Okay. Yeah. So the book it's laid out in, and I consciously made it so that, you could do it, you could read it in, these micro chapters that are like, 5 minutes long. You can, we are in such a busy society. So literally every story stands on its own. So you could literally go, cover to cover and read it in a systematically, or you could just pick the book up and, say, what do I need to hear today? And, and the perfect story will guide you. That's the intention. And I lay it out in first, connecting to that self, connecting to your, so that self-love, because we struggle so much with that in our society, and then extending that love outwards to our relationships with others, whether to our family, to our community, and even to nature, and then extending that love. And then it is sort of like there's this the beautiful circle. There's a beautiful meditation called metta meditation, where you do loving kindness, and you do loving kindness first to yourself, then to someone you care about, then to a stranger, then to someone that you are having conflict with. So you start, and then so that the book kind of extends out into conflict, into challenges, and really and that's really my, ultimately my biggest hope is that we can find that love within these conflicts. Because if we look at today, the world that we're facing, there's so much chaos, there's so much conflict. And if we can find the love and be leaders like Penny is out there and bringing the love to these challenging situations, then the world is going to be a more beautiful place. And then at the end of the day, we move through challenges, and then I end at the sacred, even though I kind of start at this, I said it's holding it all, but I kind of take people there because, I don't want ultimately love is love. And I know that's what's going to be the answer. And sometimes, things like sacred could turn people off, and that's all right. But I sort of kind of get you there and then say, oh, hey, it's actually not that bad. It's kind of beautiful. It's kind of beautiful. So, yeah.
Adam, before we close, would you be willing to share a condensed version of one of your stories from the book?
Okay.
Guy on the airplane.
The guy
lean on me.
Oh my God.
Okay, lean on me.
Okay.
Lean on me. Okay. So lean on me is well, I was on an airplane and this individual sat beside my wife and I. And my wife was pregnant at the time, and we were on our way back to Bali. And this individual started to drink heavily beside me, and started to get more drunk. You know, as the you know, like every minute passed, he started to get, you know, more and more inebriated, and he kept asking to go to the bathroom. And he was on the side aisle, so he was like on the window seat. So he had to cross through us every single time going through there. And, after maybe it was like the 6th or 7th time that happened, then we had like just taken off. I was like, oh my gosh, this is going to be a really long flight. And all I wanted to do was sleep. I had such a big trip ahead of us. And I started to like, actually at one point, you know, I got in a little bit of a confrontation with this individual, and I was like, "Look, man, you got to like, you have to make a decision. Like, you can either take this seat like over there. Like, you can't just keep doing this." And I kind of lost my cool for a moment, and I really, you know, there was like a thought. I was like, like, do I have to hit this guy? Like, it came through a thought that came through me, and I'm a pretty loving guy, right? And but. So I have this moment, and I could feel like it's like a visceral feeling of like there's anger within me. There's like the injustice. There's just like wanting to like, what is this guy's problem? And I'm noticing that, and I'm feeling it in my body, and I'm actually playing out in my head, you know, of what this guy is, and I'm this negative story. And at the same time, there's another voice in my head. You know, there's another voice in it, and it's my conscience. It's my inner wisdom. And it's telling me to love him. You know, it's like, you know, this isn't going to do like, you know, this isn't going to support you, you know, like in any way. So then I kind of grudgingly in the moment, I'm like, okay, I got to love this guy. So I start to do this, there's this Tibetan Buddhist practice, Tonglen, which is you breathe in someone's suffering and then you offer them care. So I'm there and I'm breathing in his suffering and I'm offering him care, breathing in his suffering, offering him care. And then I see that, oh my gosh, this person is, you know, they're in so much pain, you know, like, I mean, if you can just, you know, drink so much in the, like, you know, 30 minutes and just like be so wasted already, like you're obviously covering something up. There's some deeper wound there. And then with that awareness, like, then like my heart opens with compassion. And I just start to double down on this practice. And I'm there and I'm visualizing light. I'm seeing the divinity in him. I'm loving him. And this, I forgot one part of the story. We're actually like elbowing each other before I'm starting to do this. Like we're elbowing each other, and he's like fighting over the seat, and he's like trying to like take the seat, and I can just like feel it. And I'm mad. I'm like, this is my seat. I didn't say that out loud, but then I start doing this practice, right? And it's amazing because then he actually started like opening up, like he started softening. He started, you know, being more kind, and then, so as I was loving, then I started, and I was thinking loving thoughts. Then I actually, you know, I noticed that his blanket was like on the side. And then I decided, I'm like, oh, hey, do you need this blanket? Like it was kind of cold. And it was amazing, the look in his eyes, like when he saw that, I was like, why are you being kind to me? And he just softened and he grabbed it and he's like, okay. And then he took the blanket and then he passed out, and then he passed out on my shoulder, and it was and then all of a sudden, like I can hear the music that is blazing through his ears, which is super loud, and it's the song from Bill Withers, is like lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend and I'll help you carry on. And the beauty is that when I chose to be in love, I was able to be that friend that this person needed, right? And, you know, like so many of the people we were facing in the world that are having a hard time, you know, they just need a friend lean on. They just need someone to support them in those hard times. And we can be those people, right? And so that's the hope. And that's why we're in this together. So I hope that was condensed enough. That was
Wow.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Such a powerful story. Oh my gosh.
And it just reminds me that when you change how you see things change.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And,
yeah.
Right. And I think when people are like, what'd you say, Morgan?
I said, yes, Penny.
and I think like people throw around the word love a lot. Yep. But some of us don't know like what does that mean? This story was it for me. This is what coming at things with love is. Mm-hmm. Because I think it's a real trigger for a lot of people. Mm-hmm. And it is also like, we're taught like, well, love it's when I put my kids on my lap, or when I kiss my mom goodbye, or when I'm holding hands with my husband, but you don't see it. And it's hard to put words or to really see it in other ways. And I thought your story was such a beautiful way of showing how you do it in the world.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's more and more of those stories.
Yeah. Yeah. The whole book is chocked full of them.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. It's, oh gosh, I was going to say something, but I don't know if we have the time. I was going to tell another story, but so I stopped myself. but love is the answer. And I just will follow on what you said, Melissa, and just saying that, it is really, when you change the way you look at things, what you look at changes, and if we can, put on those love glasses, and they don't need to be rose colored glasses, but they're just glasses of love that see the best in every human being, see the best, even in, those politicians we may not like, even in those challenging people, like they're also, a reflection of the divine, right? There's also that within them. And so it's just remembering who these people are at their core, right? And the more that we see people in that, the more that is actually invited out of them. So.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Powerful session today. Mm-hmm. Yeah, your story just really moved me. And I read it in the book. And once again, it's just such a moving, powerful story when we lead with love, when we can remember to lead with love, right? Because we can forget so easily. Mm. So before we close, we always I have this little pennies Post-it. So the pennies Post-it today is going to be love notes that we're all going to share with a word or a few that describes what love means to us right now. And so, Adam, if you want to start off, that would be awesome.
Yeah. Love for me. Yeah. Love it means it's the whole, it's community. It's us coming together like this. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Mm.
How about you, Amanda?
Love is acceptance, not changing someone.
Mm.
That's exactly what I was going to say. I'm reading Conversations with God right now, and I just read this morning about love is accepting all of it, even the ugly, even the bad emotions. So it's just total acceptance of people, places, things, feelings, all of it.
Awesome, Morgan.
Well, for me, love is acceptance. Trifecta, 3 of us.
Oh, goodness. Well, my word of the year was love. So I don't know how to go deeper than that. But what came up for me was love is being curious. Mm. And when Adam was talking about his story, breathing in that guy's essence of his pain was being curious. I saw this meme one day, and it kind of struck me of how true how that could come out to play. It was like a guy who did something really mean. It was a joke, but he did something really mean to his wife. And she turned around, and instead of being upset with him, she said, "Why you would do something like that?" And she wasn't upset at all. And I thought, so many times if I use curiosity instead of anger, there'd be so much less conflict in the world. So, so that came up for me when Adam was telling the story. So being curious.
I love it.
I do too.
Yeah. And for me, love is recognizing that I mean, I've heard this many times, but today I heard it again in a new way, that it's just everything is here to help me grow. And if I can remember that's love. Love is just helping me, helping me to have a really great life if I choose to be curious about it and accept it all, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Real quick before you close, Adam, can you tell me again what that practice was where you breathe in the suffering and you breathe out?
Yeah, I hope that is Tonglen. I believe it is. Yeah.
Tonglen. I think Tonglen. Yeah. Pema Chodron does a lot on Tonglen. Mm-hmm. She's a Buddhist monk. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wow. Well, thank you, Adam, for coming and spending this time with us. It's a very rich conversation, and we so appreciate you making the time. And to all our listeners, we're hopeful that and trusting that what you heard here today will help you with your life's transformation, because our greatest joy is your transformation. So thank you so much for joining us, and thanks everybody, and have a really beautiful rest of your day and the rest of your week, and keep tuning in because we'll have some more loving, fun, curious, accepting, surrendering episode next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.